Hey guys! So in this video I'm going to be talking about my OR experience rotation. So we got there, for my school they sent 2 at a time to the OR. So it was on the opposite day that we had clinical. So I have my hospital clinicals on Friday, so I went to the OR on Thursday. So I got to the hospital 6 a.m. and then we went in and we changed into the surgical scrubs, and we had to put like a scrub cap on and the booties that go over your shoes, and then we had to go get patient consent forms signed by the patients before they got their medication to kind of make them like it kind of makes them a little loopy, and because they're getting ready to go into surgery. So we had to get consent forms signed that it's okay for us to watch their surgery. And we didn't have anyone reject us and say, oh no, you can't watch our surgery or whatever. So then we really stayed with the patient until their surgery, and then we went into the surgery with them and got to see everything being set up, from like them putting like the patient in the correct position and all that kind of stuff, and see them get the anesthesiologist like give them their meds to their general anesthesia. And then I think for pretty much every surgery I got to watch 3 surgeries. The nurse or the anesthesiologist or the doctor, like they were all super nice and talking me through like what they were doing, what's going on, why that patient was getting that surgery and that sort of thing. So it was a really cool experience. I got to see a laparoscopy surgery to look for endometriosis. I got to see a TURP, like a prostate resection, which was cool. And then I also got to see a carotid artery repair, which was super cool. And if you're thinking it's going to be like Grey's Anatomy, it is nothing like Grey's Anatomy, and I wasn't expecting it to be, but I got a few people ask me, was it like Grey's Anatomy, like, you know, that sort of thing, and it's not, but it's better than Grey's Anatomy. I will say that I think that it was a lot different than I was expecting it to be, and it's really cold. So if you can wear long sleeve shirt, definitely do that, and see if they have one of those like scrub jacket things that you're allowed to wear in the OR, because they keep them freezing. And just try to stay out of everyone's way. For the most part, they told me where I could stand, and I just stood there the whole time. And oh, I almost passed out during the first surgery because it was laparoscopy surgery. So it was on the screen. So I'm watching the screen super intently, like, oh my gosh, like that is amazing, that's so cool. And I started feeling like, oh my goodness, I need to sit down, I need to do something. So I told the anesthesiologist, I was standing at the head of the bed watching the screen, I was like, I think I need to go sit down outside. And then she was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, just come back in whenever you're ready. So I went out into the hallway, and all of these surgical nurses are walking by, like, are you okay? And I was like, I need to sit down, I'm about to pass out. And one of them took me in, he took me into the break room, and he gave me some water, and he's like, you're really pale, you just need to sit down and stay here for a little bit until you feel better. And so the anesthesiologist, he's like, it was probably motion sickness. A lot of people get it from just staring at the screen, especially because you're not used to looking at a screen like that for so long, and you know, the camera's moving all around and you're watching all of this stuff, and it's also like blood and guts. So yeah, it was funny to be able to say that I almost passed out, but I'm glad that I caught myself before I did. Our teachers were telling us horror stories about students in the past that did not eat breakfast and they passed out in the OR, and then they have someone else they have to deal with. I did eat breakfast. It was just, I think I got motion sickness from watching the screen. And thankfully I was able to get out of the room and sit down and stuff before I passed out. So be aware of that, and don't be afraid to say something, because you don't want to be one of the stories they tell, like, oh my gosh, the student came and she passed out in the OR, and because no one wants to have to deal with that, and you know, they have to focus on the patient that's on the operating table. So yeah, and then after the surgeries I got to follow the patients into what's it called? Where they take the patients to, like, they're kind of like they're just little rooms, and they are monitored while they're getting taken off the anesthesia, and they take their vital signs and that sort of thing. And then if they are an outpatient case, so that means they don't have to stay in the hospital after their surgery. They stay there until they're good to go home. And then if they're an inpatient, they only stay there until they're like off anesthesia and stuff like that, and then they go back up to their hospital room or whatever they're going if they're an inpatient. So that was my OR experience. I had a good time watching those surgeries, but I wouldn't mind if I never saw another surgery again. I just don't think that surgery is my passion. It was really cool to watch, but I think that definitely delivering babies, and my goal is to be a midwife, so that is definitely my passion and all that. But if you want to be a surgeon or like a surgery nurse or whatever, then you'll enjoy it like 100 times more than I did. It was still really cool though. So if you're getting ready to go into your OR experience, just don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. They'll tell you what you need to do, where you need to stand, all that type of stuff. And make sure to eat breakfast the day before, or not the day before. Make sure to eat breakfast before you go. Wear a long sleeve shirt, and you don't really need to take anything with you. You could take like a little paper like this, and this is actually the paper I took. I took the one that I took off, but to write down like what surgeries you got to watch and that sort of thing. But you don't really need to bring a whole lot with you, especially because some hospitals don't have a spot for you to store your stuff. Like I know the students that are in my class that go to the other hospital, they didn't give them a locker, so they had to wear their white scrubs and then the surgical scrubs over top. At the hospital I was at, they actually had lockers that we could put our stuff in, which was nice, but you definitely don't need to bring really anything except for a little pen and paper if you need that. So yeah, if you're getting ready to go into the OR experience, good luck and have fun, and thank you guys for watching.